as we sign the bill passed by the Senate and the House, and we'll let the sponsors talk about the details of the bill, but in general, anytime we can put pressure economically and avoid any kind of drones or military action, that's always preferable, and it has proven to work in the past, and I'm sure that as we look at the world community and how we want to work with each other in a civilized way, sometimes it's more preferable to look at economic sanctions and the like as we try and resolve our differences. Attorney General Kilmartin, do you add that? Welcome.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. First and foremost, thank you for all of being here today, and I especially want to thank the people who really helped make this happen. Obviously, the Senate and the House sponsors, Senator Miller and Rep. Ackerman, Marty Cooper, who has been on this from day one before my involvement whatsoever, Avi Neville, who was priceless in rounding up community support for this bill, and Richard Leach, who helped actually, I think, introduce me to Avi and to a bunch of folks in Boston who had an interest in this and knew the importance of Rhode Island taking this important step. And to echo what the governor said, you know, as the world gets smaller, our influence in little Rhode Island can get bigger by taking a measure like this, where we can take a stand and say, here is a country, Iran, who sponsors terrorism in the world and in the Middle East for instability, to be a foe of world peace, to be a foe of a country and its people, the state of Israel. Rhode Island can take a stand in the international community and say, we will not condone it, we will not allow those companies who profit from it to condone it, and we will make a statement that we stand for world peace, we stand against terrorism, we stand for human rights. And so this is more than just a symbolic statement. It's a fiscal statement on behalf of the state of Rhode Island and its citizens that we are there for world peace, for the state of Israel, against terrorism and the exploitation of it by the country of Iran. So I thank all of you again for all of your help in sending that message, not just on behalf of the citizens of Rhode Island, but to all the citizens of the world. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I know the Attorney General has said quite a bit already, but I just wanted to take a minute to thank those who came together to make this happen. First, I want to thank the Rhode Island Attorney General's office for putting a spotlight on this issue, which couldn't be more relevant during these trying times in the Middle East. I also want to express gratitude to Senator Miller for taking the reins on this in the Senate, and Governor Chafee for his unwavering support. I also would like to throw a shout out to my majority leader, Nick Mattiella, who also was there to assist me. Lastly, I want to thank the people who came out to testify on behalf of this legislation, including the Jewish Alliance of Greater Rhode Island, the Consul General of Israel, and United Against Nuclear Iran. Their wisdom, analysis, and passion for peace are what built the foundation of this legislation. It's become evident that we can't take our eyes off of Iran, which has been developing nuclear weapons and repressing its own people. Perhaps more alarming is the country's link to worldwide terrorism. It is our job as a country, and the world's job really, to ensure balance and peace. We must take a stand against injustice. I believe today that we have exercised our diplomatic role as a state in signing this bill. And we are not alone in our sentiments, as half of the United States has enacted Iran divestment legislation and policies. So far, these measures have resulted in billions of dollars being pulled from international companies that are doing business in Iran. Rhode Island is a growing part of this movement, is part of this growing movement. Our legislation, even in Little Rhodey, has and will continue to make a big difference. And remember, we must remember moving forward that peace is the only end game. Thank you.
I want to tell a story. I'll try to keep it short. As a new legislator in 2006, the first bill I ever introduced as a senator was a resolution against the war in Iraq. And that bill was quickly dismissed by leaders on both sides of the Assembly as the Rhode Island legislature doesn't do foreign policy. You're in the wrong body. You should be a congressman or a senator if you want to do foreign relations. And then came divestment in Iran. And the difference between divestment in Iran and a resolution in 2006 against the war in Iraq was the emphatic ability of Rhode Island and 30 other